We have an improved version of the CPAP device that you'll start seeing out in the field here shortly. It addresses a lot of the deficiencies of the current model, and in this video we'll discuss the indications for using it, how you set up and deploy it, and I'll also show you some of the key differences between the current model and the new model. The new device is a little bit smaller, it's somewhat simpler, but the biggest selling point is that it uses markedly less oxygen. This particular one is only 10 liters a minute is what it pulls off of a bottle versus anywhere between 40 to 80 liters a minute is what the previous device was using. It also makes a lot less noise for the patient. It doesn't have that really loud hissing sound and airflow sound that accompanied the other device. The department's protocol on CPAP has not changed. The patients for whom CPAP is indicated are very broad. It includes really any patient that presents to you in respiratory distress. Those are the patients that we want you to consider using CPAP on if they meet the inclusion criteria and there are no contraindications present. The contraindications from the protocols are an altered mental status or an inability to follow commands, a patient that is apneic, and respiratory arrest that is not appropriate for CPAP. Those patients need immediate bag mask ventilation. If you were to place the CPAP device and find that the patient went into respiratory arrest, immediately remove the CPAP device and proceed with bag mask ventilation. A blood pressure of less than 90 systolic is a contraindication, as well as any sort of airway obstruction or airway compromise, including burns to the airway, and any sort of facial deformity that would preclude you from getting a mask seal. In order for the CPAP device to function, you need to be able to get and maintain an airtight seal on the patient's face. The procedure is as follows. First, assess the need for it and verify the patient doesn't have any contraindications. Apply the pulse ox and put the 3-lead EKG on the patient. Prepare and explain what you're about to do. Place the device, reassess that it's functioning and that there's good airflow and a lack of air leakage. Then perform a 12-lead EKG, and in the flow chart, document what you've done, as well as in the narrative, identify the indications and then the outcome. So to tie everything together, we'll walk through a process of actually using the CPAP on a simulated patient. What we have is a gentleman here, he's sitting in our recliner, he's got a non-rebreather mask on his face, and we're doing that while we get everything ready. So as ADC Simcox assembles the CPAP equipment, I'm going to put the patient on the pulse ox and apply the 3-lead EKG. Prior to this, we have our blood pressure, and we know his pressure is at least 90 systolic, which makes him eligible for the CPAP device. Cameron is applying the head strap and head fitting device first, and what we found, and this was actually a really clever idea on his part, we found that it worked a lot better if you apply the straps before you put anything else on. It makes it a lot easier to get it adjusted. So once the straps are sized with the Velcro and appropriately fitted to the patient, then we'll apply the mask. And after the mask has been applied, then we're going to plug the CPAP device, the actual hard plastic portion that delivers oxygen. He's got it right there in his hand. Give that a firm application and adjust the mask as necessary to get a good seal. Once you have it in place, attach it to the standard port on the oxygen bottle and set your flow rate to 10 liters a minute. Now in this video, we're going to demonstrate how you use the neb kit. It isn't necessary to use the nebulizer on every single patient, but for demonstration purposes, we'll walk you through it. You can run this off of a single bottle. What I'm doing here is the nebulizer itself screws in to what's called the disc port. It's that brass port on the bottle that's covered with a red cap normally. Gently screw that on there. It has a tendency to get cross-threaded, and then open the petcock, and that will automatically flow the correct rate to the nebulizer itself so you can run the CPAP device as well as a nebulizer off of a single bottle. Once you've done all that, reassess your patient, check for leaks, and you should be good for transport.